This is PJNET.TV, and this is my perspective and comments. In this video segment of My Perspective and Comments, we cover politics, society here and abroad, and the events of the day that are shaping our nation. PJNET.TV, My Perspective and Comment, coming to you with a worldview, one nation under God. Welcome to My Perspective and Comments. And again, we're going to start out quickly with the Wuhan, China COVID-19 virus and what's been going on here, updates here in the U.S. There seems to be some normalcy that's starting to set in our country. The masks in many of the states have come off, and there are actually some states that have put some teeth in. There's no masks, no COVID passports that you have to have on your person. Those are banned. So we're seeing more and more states that are actually saying you're not going to have to worry about any passport or the masks. And we're even starting to see now of them taking those executive orders and eliminating them for future legislation that would come from some of these governors. So slowly we're starting to see some normalcy starting to come back. But again, I caution, there are pockets, these liberal, tyranny-laden states that we're seeing, like over in the left coast there, California, and obviously New York. Michigan is still one of those states. New Jersey, one of those tyranny-laden states, and they still want to control and lock their people down. And the next front is them wanting to vaccinate our kids, and they're pushing that and touting all the goodness for vaccinating a 12-year-old, when it's been proven right now that they aren't a danger to themselves or adults. So getting our kids back into the classroom is still right now in this country, in some states, a challenge. We still have these left-wing states that want to keep our kids in almost a quarantine type situation where they have to continually wear masks, and now they're even talking about them getting a vaccine. And again, the children are not they don't have an issue, they don't have a problem with this COVID-19 virus. But yet and still, we still see that these left-wing states that want to push this, making our kids get a vaccine in order to go to school. And we're also seeing some of these left colleges that are trying to do the same thing with, you can't come back to college unless you have a vaccine, which I'm glad I'm seeing more and more college students that are bringing the lawsuits, and they're suing. I think Rutgers might be under the gun as far as that there are going to be some lawsuits to challenge that mandate. But okay, talking about COVID and what's been the latest here. Well, we have some of these governors that are now offering bribes to get the jab, like booze, lottery tickets, coffee, donuts, and many more enticements. Hey, you could go to one of these states and you could win a pickup truck just by getting the jab. Hey, it's an emergency use only vaccine, but hey, some people are getting enticed by some of these bribes that these governors are offering. No thanks. But America is facing right now. We're seeing the aftermath of the COVID in our economy, and we're seeing right now between still people that are fearful of COVID, and they want to stay in, they want to wear masks forever. If there's a segment of our population that if they could wear masks 24/7 for the rest of their lives, there'd be some that would say, yeah, sign me up, we need to. I'll be safe that way. But what we're seeing right now in this economy, partly the COVID aftermath and the COVID indoctrination to be afraid of COVID, of going out anymore and getting out into public and socializing. There's a segment of our society that are mentally affected, and they're fearful to get back into a normal setting and not looking at other people as some kind of a germ, a disease carrier, instead of getting back to normal. And there's a segment of the population that's locked into that. So what we're seeing with that hysteria that's going on in some people's minds, and Joe Biden with his economic push, saying, hey, my policies, we're going to make sure that we have, we're doling out the money. And basically what the Biden administration is doing is giving the incentive not to work, rather than the incentive, we've got to get back to work. The gravy train's over now. There's jobs, and companies are looking to hire. You need to go back to work. And instead of the incentive of pulling those monies back and saying, look, work is available, let's get back to work. No. The incentive is still there. But I'm glad to see that there are a lot of red states that have enacted laws that are taking away some of that free money, so to speak, and eliminating that. And what we're seeing already is just that alone, and we're starting to see employment numbers rising in those states. So that's good to see. Maybe it might put some more pressure on Biden to wake up and do the right thing. But when it comes to Joe Biden, that's probably an impossibility. Him doing the right thing. Rand Paul has been putting Fauci on the hot seat for months now, and kudos to Rand Paul and what he's been doing and raising the alarm and really putting the pressure on Fauci. But now, folks, there's more and more voices that are coming up regarding Dr. Fauci and the gain of function. And if you don't know what that is, and we've kind of chronicled that with Rand Paul in some of his interviews, putting the pressure, when he was putting the pressure and grilling Fauci on this gain of function, is basically, and there's more and more evidence that funding the Fauci organization, NIH, I believe, or one of those health orgs that Fauci is involved in or head of has been funding, and now he's doing a tap dance whether or not he was actually funding, or does he really know? He doesn't. He's kind of playing the dumb role where I'm not sure what you're talking about. I know he pushed back against Rand Paul and saying no, that's not true. But there's more and more evidence that funding from his organization has gone to this the fund possibly this research, and there's more and more pressure for him to. And the people are investigating that very same this gain of function. Basically, what it is a lab developing super viruses, and in the Obama administration, they frowned on. In fact, they said no, stop doing that. But it appears that funding was still continuing for that research. So now the question, after all this, and you've heard so many things about where did the virus come from, what could it be? It always had been the natural. It went from a bat, but now there's more and more talk that it could, and Fauci even has thrown up his hands and said, well, I'm not sure, but it could have been developed in a lab. And there's already been, there's been some talk, some investigations regarding China and their defense concocting this technology or making viruses that could be used as weapons. So right now there's more and more talk. Fauci is getting asked the question, could this be a virus that was developed in a lab that escaped? And now we're starting to hear more and more people asking that question, where before the question wasn't even being asked. In fact, the standard answer from the professionals and Fauci was that this was natural. But there's more and more talk and pressure that this might very well have been something that escaped from a lab. The list is growing of states that are bringing legislation to ban critical race theory in our schools. And really there's a lot of pushback. We have governors of Tennessee, Idaho, Arkansas, Oklahoma, and they've already signed bills. In Texas, Arizona, Iowa, they have bills that are pending, and it's just a matter of these states, or it's just a matter of these governors, that will sign these bills into law. And there's more states that are definitely looking to come on board to eliminate this this destruction, or the attempt to tear down America and to rewrite America and to attack the United States by this critical race theory that is the ultimate goal is to tear America down, and to bring the accusation that America is a racist country, and it needs to be torn down. And we see, groups like Antifa, Black Lives Matter, this 1619 project from the New York Times has been pushing this crap, but more and more people are going to their school boards and demanding that if it's there, it's going, and if it doesn't go, they're booting the school board council and giving them the heave-ho and getting people in there that aren't going to allow this indoctrination of our kids. Refunding is taking place now in some of our police organizations in some of the major cities. The backlash of that's been taking place in some of these high crime and crime surged areas, like in Minnesota, Portland. We're seeing in Seattle, New York. The crime rates are going sky high and no end in sight. Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey, he's a Democrat, has announced in May that he's going to be pushing to add more increased funding for the city police department. We're seeing in New York City, Mayor Bill de Blasio announced this month that his city is building a police precinct in Queens to deal with the skyrocketing crime that's taking place there in the city. And this is happening in these left-leaning states, in the left-leaning cities, Baltimore, Chicago, to name a couple more. But we're seeing this is a battle where we're seeing these left-leaning cities are still pushing this Black Lives Matter agenda that wants to tear down the police and eliminate the police. And what is the result? And we're seeing it. Skyrocketing crime is going, it's out of control right now. And many people in these cities are afraid to go out, and they are demanding that the police come back to their area. And so when they pick up the phone, there'll be a police officer that will show up, rather than what's been taking place now is if they do show up, it's hours later. And it's strictly because these Black Lives Matter and these liberal mayors and some of the liberal governors are continuing to put their residents in danger. So I'd like us to take a look here. I've got a few video clips that are talking about the devastation and what these liberal cities have been pushing in their effort to defund the police. And we are seeing some that are saying this has got to stop. We need to support our police, and we need to actually bring funds in to bolster our police departments and to get more people that actually even want to be police officers. So I've got a few video clips here and showing some of the areas that we're seeing in some of these cities that are the struggle that's taking place, that effort by Black Lives Matter to defund the police, and those police commissioners that are saying, no, we have to strengthen the police, and because the crime rates are just going astronomical, and we can't, this can't continue on. This isn't sustainable, and something's going to break. And right now, what we're seeing is lawlessness in our streets. So here, take a look at these videos.